Welcome to Screenshots. Juan, it's Nationals Week. Are you excited?
Yes, I am. I'm a little tired, but a lot going on work-wise, but yeah, I'm very excited.
So what do we have for our viewers today?
Well, Drew Broderick is going to talk about the Junior Nationals.
Yep.
He's going to announce the winners, and I think it was a great event.
Patty Hogan and her team did an absolutely stellar job, really changed the format around, and Drew will talk about those things.
That's great. And then we're going to talk about the men's and women's draw for the Nationals and discuss a little bit about President's Cup, which is, to me, the best event of the year. The best day of the year, honestly, to me, is not actually Nationals, it's President's Cup day.
I do love President's Cup. It's a wonderful day. It's a team event. It's fun hanging out with the guys. It's fun competing.
Yeah.
And it really is a special day. I know I was with Victor Vidal a little bit today, and this is his first year in the President's Cup team, and he's like a kid on Christmas Eve. He's just so excited about it.
It's a great thing. So looking forward to it, and good luck.
Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm joined today by Drew Broderick. Drew is one of the co-chairmen of the Junior Nationals, and Drew's going to give us a report on what I think was the most successful Junior Nationals ever.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Weather was nice. We had 210 juniors participating, over 50 paddle courts in the New Jersey area. The tournament was run by Director Patty Hogan, Mike Gillespie, Dave Broderick, Lori Hissey, and for the first time we had a champions dinner emceed by the great Tim McAvoy.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a nice night, and that's the first time they did it. And we also added a Sunday Pro-Am for all the kids at Canoe Country Club and at the Short Hills Club, which was the host club for the event.
And who played in the Pro-Am?
The Pro-Am, you had a lot of great pros. You had Anna Brznova, Marco Grangiero, Scott Kaler, Mike Stulak. You even had Peter Grunberg, former junior national champ, and
Artie Williams?
No, Artie was at the champions dinner that night.
So tell me about the champions dinner, because that sounded like just a wonderful idea.
Yeah, it was great. You had everybody who was a runner-up and a champion come on out, and they're
from junior nationals.
From junior nationals, yes, and their awards, their medals were presented to them by former national champions, and also you had plenty of APTA board members on site to also present awards.
And who were some of the top former champions who were there?
Again, it was Anna Brznova. She presented. You had.
Did Anna win a junior nationals?
No. It was former national champs. So it was junior nationals and regular open champions.
And who were some of the former junior national champions who went on to big success? I know Peter Grunberg, Mike Stulak.
Correct.
Anybody else of note like that?
Not there presenting that I was aware of. Okay. No.
Kids must have really enjoyed that, seeing some of the stars of the game there. Yourself, Anna, national champions the last couple of years. Peter Grunberg, some of the big names. That must have been a big treat for the kids.
Yeah, it was a good time, and what was pretty exciting was a lot of the kids knew who the players were. So, ranging from Connecticut, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Philadelphia, it was pretty cool.
Anybody ask you for your autograph?
No comment.
I'm going to take that as a yes, Drew.
No comment.
And tell me some more about the weekend. Tell me some more about what Patty arranged. I mean, who were the teams that won?
Well, I'll tell you what. I've never participated in a junior nationals before, and I was the Huck commander over at Canoe Brook for the girls 15s, which was great. Girls couldn't have been nicer to each other. I made a comment to one of the parents. You would never know which teams were winning and losing the matches.
Well, that's
Everyone
wonderful.
was just full of compliments and support to each other. So that was great. I was fortunate to spend some time with Chaz Burkhart. He and his girls, his twins were in my hut, and they went on to win the national title as well, for I believe it's the 4th straight year.
Wow.
And but it was great. But I did get to get over to Short Hills and watch the boys 18 finals. And like I said, I've never watched a junior nationals before, but I was very impressed. And the points were great, spins were good, the intensity was there, and then I got to play against them on Sunday for the Pro-Am.
Oh, that's fun.
Which was even more fun. Yeah.
So talk to me about who won the different levels. I mean, tell me what were the different age groups, who won, winners, runners-up. Do you have some of those names?
Okay, yeah. I'd like to recognize all the winners and runner-ups. Okay, we had for the boys 10 and under, the national champions were Matt Farrell and Andrew Poprick. The finalists were James Lorenzetti and Reggie Sturr. And that's Frank Lorenzetti's
Frank's
son.
kid,
Yep, yep. Boys 12 and under national champions were Calvin Smith and Michael Miller. The finalists were Charles Brossi and Griffin Kramer. The boys 15 and under national champions, Teddy Van Eck and Tucker Van Eck. The finalists were Chris Conlon and Mark Bradle. Boys 18 and under national champions, Will Cannon and Henry Fishman. The finalists were Will Graham and Henry DeCoster. Not often that you have 4 guys on the court, 2 teams, Will and Henry, right?
Will and Henry, yeah, that's unusual.
Yeah, so that's who everyone was rooting for, Will and Henry. Yeah. The girls 12 and under national champions, Rachel Mashik and Olivia Walsh. The finalists were Phoebe Brinker and Lee Walter. Girls 15 and under national champs, Callie Burkhart and Katie Burkhart. Finalists, Genevieve DeWinter and Sarah Walker. Girls 18 and under national champions, Bella Echevarrio and Meredith Hughes. The finalists were Alexandra Shea and Emily Dardis.
That's very familiar names there.
Very familiar names.
Well, it sounds like Patty Hogan and her team did a spectacular job. I know that next year we're planning on doing a little preview on Scree Shots for the junior season coming up. So we'll definitely have you back to do a wrap-up. So Drew, you mentioned that John Lubau was the sponsor for the live streaming. Any other sponsors that we should talk about and thank?
Yes, I'd like to thank the APTA, Viking Solutions, Paddle Tennis Sports, Paddle Pro, and the New Jersey Men's League, to our first ever game tent in the New Jersey Women's League for the bleachers for great courtside viewing, which was pretty cool.
Okay, and the Short Hills Club and all the clubs in Jersey that generously donated their courts?
Absolutely, and the Huck Commanders that donated their time and the parents to drive the kids around. It was great weekend.
You know, as a tournament director yourself, you know how much goes into running these events and what a team effort it is with so many people contributing to make it run as smoothly as it does.
Yeah, and it absolutely went perfectly. You know, Patty Hogan put a lot of time into this event, and it showed.
Yeah.
Okay, so Juan, most exciting week of the year?
Yeah. I'm
Nationals
so
this week in
excited.
Chicago?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the women.
Good.
So top of the draw, Dardis Shea, number 2 seed. I don't see anybody presenting too much of an issue until they get to the 16s with Noyes and Ohlmuller. How do you see that match playing out?
Dardis and Shea against Noyes and Ohlmuller. I think Dardis and Shea will pull the win. They just won the 45 Nationals for the
Third year in a row.
Third year in a row. And I don't see Noyes and Ohlmuller beating them. Even though they're a good team, I mean, Dardis and Shea will make it through.
So the next match to speak about is Mandel and Tarzan versus Dalton and Nuslock. So semi-finalist and a finalist from last year, playing in the round of 16. Who do you like in that match?
I actually like Dalton and Nuslock because they're local and they're gonna have the crowd in their favor. I think that's gonna give them a little push and I'm gonna help them pull that win.
Dalton and Nuslock made the finals at Indian Trail and the semis at Pittsburgh, and I see them going deep again this year.
Yeah, I think so too.
So that I agree. I think they're going to be playing Dardis Shea in the quarters. Next quarter we have Roxy and Martina, Anika and Andrikova. I think that Maine and Parsons, the match that's interesting to me is the Maine Parsons Adams Layton match in the 32.
I think that I played with Sarah Layton last week. I mean, she is very talented, great hands, very nice. But I think that Maine and Parsons are a better team. I think they're gonna go all the way to the quarters. I think.
To the 16s,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see them beating Martina and Roxy in the 16s.
Yeah.
Next section of the draw, I think McNitt and Shipitz are coming out. That's real solid team.
That's a very good team. I like that team a lot, and I think they're gonna go deep.
And they beat Roxy and Martina at Long Island.
Yes, they did.
So that's
in Short Hills.
In Short Hills. So that's
it was a 3-setter, long match.
So that'll be an interesting matchup in the quarters. So we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
We should mention Isabel Caban playing with Nindy Pike, a couple APTAers in the bottom of the draw, and they'll hopefully get their shot at McNitt Spitz. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so next second of the draw, Bobo Delaney and Gabby Nicolescu. That's an interesting team.
Talk about two extremes.
Yeah, Gabby is, in a lot of ways, the future women's paddle. I mean, she hits the ball hard off both
Very
legs.
hard.
She's got great hands. She's
Yeah.
a terrific athlete.
Very good tennis player.
Very talented.
Yeah.
And I know that Gabby changed her grip recently, so she's serving more with the continental grip. She got away from the eastern grip. That's a pretty good team. So I expect them to be in the 16s, and I expect they'll play the winner of the Prendergast van Starnberg Coaches Williamson.
I don't know by Starnberg how she plays.
She won charities a couple of years back with Nate Parsons' wife.
Oh, that's nice.
So-
So she must be pretty good
So
then.
pretty talented, and Cindy Prendergast obviously is.
Although
is-
Coaches and Williamson are a very solid team, good tennis players too.
Yep.
I'm actually looking forward to. I think that Coaches and Williamson are gonna make it through, just because they play a fast style, and I see even though Cindy Prendergast is probably the most experienced player of all in the court, it's kind of she's gonna be at a different speed, and I think that's gonna probably hurt them.
And Coaches Williamson, Delaney Nicolescu. Who do you like there?
In the
Come out of
quarter,
that?
in the 16.
In the 16s. to come out
That's
to the
gonna be
quarters.
interesting. I like Nicolescu and Delaney.
Okay. Next section of the draw is Lemery and Rohrbach against Delmonico Gebbia, in theory, in the 16s.
Yeah.
And I
Delmonico and Gebbia,
gotta
I
like
think
Delmonico and Gebbia, yeah. And I think Delmonico and Gebbia will come out and
I
play.
think they're
Delaney
all the way
Nicolescu.
through the semis.
Yeah, I think so too.
I picked them to get to the semis.
Okay, last quarter of the draw, seeded teams, Jaffe Rudloff against Kazakovich Prop
Yeah.
and Gio Schneebeck. Well, Gio Schneebeck may have to play against Flynn Molenveld, which is a real interesting team. Kerry Flynn and Myrta Molenveld, Martin's assistant at the field club.
Yeah.
Very talented.
I don't know. I still think she's a season.
Little raw.
Yeah, she's a little raw. She still makes mistakes. She hits a nice ball and she's very feisty. She loves losing. She loves winning, hates losing.
Loves competing.
So I mean, I have to pick Gaio and Schneebeck just because of the experience and because they're really good players. I
Right,
mean,
they are good players.
Yeah.
So regardless of who wins that match, you don't see
mean,
either of those teams beating Brazova and Cruz.
No, I see them all the way through the semis still.
Okay, so Brazova, Cruz, Jaffe Rudloff. Do you give Jaffe Rudloff a shot in that match?
I don't think so.
I mean, Brazova, Cruz were a new team, haven't played much
Yeah,
together.
but they're very good. They're very good. They're very
I
good.
think it's a little odd that the #1 seeded Nationals is a team that's never played together.
Well, they have enough points as individuals.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so you think Brazova, Cruz are coming out there, and the Dardis Shea Doughton Nusslock match.
I think that Dardis and Shea will win that this year.
do?
Yeah,
Dardis and Shea historically have performed poorly at Nationals.
very true.
I'm going with
But I
Doughton
think this
Nusslock.
is
I hate to disagree with you. You know how much I hate to disagree with
Yeah.
you. It's painful, really. But I'm going to pick Doughton Nusslock to come
Right.
out. And here we have Roxy and Martina versus Mick
That's a tough. That's a tough
one.
I mean, going by the history, I mean, we will have to pick Magnet and Spitz because, and also they're local, you know. But I like to see Roxy win that match and Martina. I mean, it's a very tough call. Those ladies are very good. So
I'm going to pick Roxy and Martina.
I'm not going to disagree with you in this one because I want Roxy and Martina to win, but it's going to be tough.
And then we had Delmonico Gebbia.
Delmonico Gebbia through.
Okay, so the semis then would be
Dardis and Shea against Roxy and Martina.
either Dardis and Shea or Doughton Nusslock.
Well, I think that whoever comes through from the second quarter
Right.
is going to be in the final.
I tend to agree with that.
Oh,
I
Surprising.
agree with that. Yeah. So we both think that the winner of the Mignich-Spitz match will be in the finals.
yeah.
Yeah. And then how about the Delmonico Gebbia Cruz
That's an interesting-
Brazova match? That
that's-
is an interesting match,
That's
isn't it?
very interesting. I will have to pick Anna and
And Liz.
Liz.
Okay.
Liz is playing very well.
Liz did not play well in Philly.
I don't know how she. Well,
Oh, that's right. You were on the beach in Mexico. I forgot about
I was
that.
not there. But also, I heard that Roxy didn't play well.
No, nobody played particularly
When
well.
one player doesn't play well, I mean, it's hard to keep the balance on the team. You know, it's like.
I know you
one
struggle with
starts
that. Like when Max is playing poorly, you tend to struggle periodically.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm not playing poorly, you're always
No,
okay with that
I'm always
because you
okay with
expect that.
Yes. I'm always expecting you to make mistakes.
Okay, so that would leave us with, I guess we're both picking Roxy and Martina
Or Magnet and Spitz.
but we-
Whoever comes through, yeah.
against, and who are we picking in the finals?
Liz and Anna.
So you're going to pick Liz and Anna to win. Who do you pick to win? Liz and Anna.
Stuff.
It's tough.
Who do you pick?
I'm going to go with Roxy and Martina. I think Roxy and Martina are either going to go out early in the quarters or they're going to win the tournament.
I would love to pick them, but I don't think they have the experience. They're going to get nervous as they go deep.
But they did gain some valuable experience last year. They got tight in last year's semifinal.
Yeah, but,
Didn't play well. So I think that they've kind of gotten over that hump a little bit. I mean, similar to George Wilkinson, the guy's side who we'll talk about, who got very tight in the quarters last year and fell apart. So we'll see how George does this year once he's gotten that experience.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's going to be interesting.
So you going to pick, or you're just going to stay on the fence?
I will go with Liz and Anna.
Okay, we're going to have to tell Roxy about this.
Okay.
Okay, and that sums up the women's draw. We'll be right back with the guys. Okay, Juan, so the men's draw. Might be the deepest draw I've ever seen, 128 teams, some terrific round of 64 matches. So, top of the draw we have Broderick Palmer playing some great paddle. I don't see anybody in their section to challenge them at all until potentially 16s, quarters, maybe semis, but we'll get to that. Next match that jumps out at me is a 32 match between Barnes and Smith and Innes and Urdoya.
I think that's very interesting. I mean, I think that Barnes and Smith have a good chance on that one.
Well, Brad Smith tends to be very hot and cold. He can play great and he can play really poorly.
But if you have to pick one today, who would you pick?
If I have to pick one today, I'm going to pick Mick and Mark.
Okay. I want them to win. I think it's gonna be tough.
Okay, so next section of the draw, we got a great 32, which I hope you'll be watching on Saturday morning. Steve DeRose and John Lubau against Max Lepavere and Corey Parr. How do you see that match unfolding?
Well, I mean, Steve and John haven't been playing well this year.
No, they've had a bad year, although they played a great match in Philly against Marco and George.
I watched that match online a little bit.
Did you like the live stream? The commentating was good?
It was pretty, well, the commentating was okay.
Jerry's part.
Yeah, Jerry was really good. But there was some other guy that I don't know, I couldn't understand very well.
Okay, so
but I think it's going to be very interesting. It just, it all falls how Corey is playing that day. You know, unfortunately, he's going to be the one that, if he plays well, Max and Corey can win, but the other team is more experienced, and you know I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, if I go by names, I have to pick Lubau on the ropes.
But you never pick by names.
I never pick by names, and I don't think they're playing well. I think, honestly, I think it's 50-50.
I think it's a toss-up match too. I could see either team winning.
Yeah.
Okay, so next section of the draw, going down a little further in this quarter, we have a terrific 64 between Scott Friend and Alex Hume against Michael Montalbano and Kevin Kwolek.
Who is here? Michael is right behind the camera.
I don't know any Michael, I know Monty.
Well, he's about to step in camera now, right? So because he just did that, I'm gonna pick Scott Friend and Alex Hume.
Okay, so the winner of that match gets Mike Cochran and Scott Estes. Now Mike's been playing some stellar paddle of late.
Yeah.
I heard he played great today.
He did. He played so well that I think that is the only tournament that Drew hasn't won this year.
That is impressive to keep Drew from winning a tournament.
Yeah, he actually.
Not a lot of guys can do that.
He played so great that he dragged Drew down big time. I mean, Cochran Estes will win that match.
Okay, so and who do you like then in the Cochran Estes versus the winner of?
That's gonna be great.
That'd be a great match.
I like that. I think. I mean.
Now they had a great match in the semis at Charities last year.
I know.
That went really deep.
Yeah.
That's assuming Lubau DeRose get through, not Lepavere and Parr, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I will actually pick Cochran Estes.
Okay, so Cochran Estes, Broderick Palmer.
They play well in the Nationals.
They play well in Nationals. Okay, so we'll come back to the quarters. That leaves us with Cochran Estes, Broderick Palmer in the top quarter. Next section of the draw, we've got also some really good matchups. We have Mark Rupert and Rusty Wright versus John Noble, tournament director, and Mike Raleigh.
I will reserve my opinion on that match.
I like Noble Raleigh. I think they're winning that match. And then they'll end up against Marco and George. I like Marco and George to get through. And then the match that's really got my attention, which I hope I'm going to be streaming, is Grangero Wilkinson versus Banchili Uline at 1:30 at Glenview on Saturday in the round of 16. That is a tremendous match. Who do you like there?
I mean, I don't know. Unfortunately, the only times I watch Alex and Ryan Bruline play this year was when they played against Mark and Johan. And
they've lost to, I think, 4 times.
yeah, but you know they were forcing, so I don't think I actually couldn't see them play or perform at their best. So I think it's going to be a great match. Marco and George have been playing well. It's just, I don't know. I think it's gonna go to 2 things here. I mean, how much Alex is trying to do, like, and how his serve is that day, because that is a big, you know, he struggles big time with that and gets in his head a lot. And then, you know, it's gonna depend. It's gonna depend on how, you know, George, if he gets nervous or not, because last year, you know, he struggled a little bit with that. Hopefully he has the experience this year and he'll get through this time.
I don't think Marco and George have ever played against those guys.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It's a disadvantage not having seen Brian play.
Yes.
That's a big disadvantage.
Yes. Yes.
So to me, it's another toss-up match.
Yes. I agree.
I'm going to go with the hometown team, but I could easily see Marco and George getting through.
Okay.
Okay, next section of the draw is yours. I want to mention the new team of Jeff Morneau and Trevor Spracklin, who are likely to be your round of 32 opponents.
That's a tough round of 32.
That's a tough round of 32.
That's really tough.
Good, solid team. Jeff's coming off of his win in the 45s.
I know.
Trevor Spracklin, very talented, real good player.
Yeah. I think that, you know, one thing that I like about this tournament is that Lennart is going to get to play 4 matches the day before.
You're assuming that they're going to make it through to the knockout round?
Well, he's going to play at least 3.
Are you talking about maybe some of the backdraw matches?
Well, he's going to play 3 then.
Right.
So he's going to get some practice in. So I think that's going to be great for him. So hopefully, the way to, I kind of know how to play Trevor because I played him twice already this year, I think. I hope he, you know, Lennart and I can actually play that way against him. But Jeff is terrific. I think Jeff
solid
is
player,
amazing.
very underrated.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think we can win that match, but it's not going to be easy.
Okay, well, I like you guys in that match, and that would set up a round of 16 rematch from Boston with Anton Maverin and Patricio Misatrano.
Yeah.
Now, to me, the big question is, which Lennart Jonassen is coming to Chicago? Because Lennart Jonassen that was in Boston,
he played great.
Was the same guy that was part of the second best team in the country in 2013.
Yes.
Lennart Jonassen played the first 3 tournaments, not quite so good. So is Lennart coming down to like 155, 160 pounds? I mean, has he lost more weight?
Yeah.
Is he going to like vanish? Where's Lennart? We can't see him. He turned sideways.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm calling you guys in that match. And then that would lead you to either play the winner of George and Marco versus Benchila Uline, which we'll get to in a second. That'll be a tremendous quarter either way. Okay, so moving to the bottom half of the draw, the third quarter has another terrific round of 32 matchup between Bostrom Bredberg and Berka Trzynski.
Oof.
Merritt is relatively new to the game and works for Peter. He and Scott Bondurant took a set from Durant Parsons at Charities this year.
And Berka and Barnes beat Martin and Sebastian at Charities.
Yep, Berka and Barnes beat them, and were the only bad tournament Martin and Sebi had all year.
But I think that that's what Peter does to you. I mean, I know Sebastian and Martin like to hit the ball. They like to hit hard, and Peter slows it down. You know, and I don't think that's what Martin and Sebastian like.
I was surprised Berka and Trzynski didn't do better at Indy. They lost, I think, in the quarters at Indy. I thought they were going to win the tournament.
You know, we discussed that, and I mean, I agree. They're a solid team, though.
They are a solid team.
Yeah.
So who do you like?
I like Martin and Sebastian.
Yeah, it's tough to pick against them.
I think Berka's partner is a little too new to the sport, and I think that Sebastian and Martin are smart enough to work that corner.
Okay, so moving down the draw 1 slot, we have a terrific round of 64 match between Brett Kraft and Victor Vidal, a couple of Region 1 Presidents guys, and Mike Marino and Dane Schmigdal.
Wow, I pick Mike Marino and Dane Schmidtko. They're a very solid team, very solid.
The winner of that match will probably end up with Scott Falatek and Vlatko Nijek.
Good match. I'll pick Dane Schmidtko and Mike Marino.
Okay, so you got Schmigdal and Marino getting out to play Bostrom Bredberg.
Yes.
And who do you like in that match?
That's tough too. I mean, this tournament,
It's the Nationals.
Oh my God.
I think it's the best draw I've ever seen.
it's a great draw.
I mean, Chicago, there's so many good players that don't tend to travel as much, but that doesn't make them any less terrific.
I think, wow, that's tough. That's a round of 16.
That's a round of 16.
That's ridiculous. I'll pick, I will pick Martin and Sebastian.
Okay, so in the section of the draw opposite that, we have Adam Morgan and Paget Neve, and it looks like they'll play the winner of David Caldwell and Blake Cordish against Scott Kaler and Mike Stulak. How's that
That's
for
a round
round
of 64.
Yeah,
Well, but Kaler and Stulak beat him 2-0.
beat him 2-0. But,
Short hills.
but David has been playing a lot of paddle and is playing much better. He played very well today in the money tournament.
Yeah.
Some would argue he won the tournament. Some would argue the tournament director favored himself with the draw, but that's another story entirely. But David is a different player than he's been the last couple months.
Also, he played with a little better partner than his usual partner.
You think that Jared is better than Blake Cordish?
Yes.
Okay.
Jared is two in the country.
So who are you picking in that match?
I pick Stulak and Kaler.
Okay, and how do you think Stulak and Kaler will do against Morgan Neve?
Morgan and Neve are a solid
good team.
team. And Adam Morgan is playing great paddle. Great paddle.
He gave you your toughest match in Cincinnati when you and Max
Yeah,
played.
yeah, you know. And then we play Adam and Dane Schmidt go in the semis of Short Hills. We were down 5-2 in the first and came back, but they were playing solid and Adam was playing great. It's tough, but I will actually, you know, I would pick the winner of Caldwell Cordish, Stulak Kaler, to make it through the 16. Based that I picked on Stulak and Kaler, I see them going through.
Okay. The winner of that match would end up most likely with Rob Bacher and Flip Goodspeed in the 16s.
I think the Rob Bacher and Flip are good, are really good, and they're gonna go to the quarters all the way.
Okay, so that gets us to the bottom section of the draw. McKnight Rose, I think McKnight Rose are going to get out of their section to the 16 pretty easily. We have a couple of real good 64s here. One is Engel Witskin versus Denny English and Guy Moore. Denny English and Guy Moore are still trying to get over their love and love loss to Karana Wagner at Rochester, but that's a heck of a round of 64 matchup.
I think that English and Moore are gonna make it through.
Okay. Right next to him, another round of 64 matchup, assuming both teams get through. Scott Manzinger and Chris Struck against Tommy Croker and Huntley Montgomery.
I think I have to pick Manzinger and Struck just because Huntley Montgomery is not playing much paddle. I mean, even though he's super talented and a great tennis player, you know, for this tournament you have to be in paddle shape. It's tough. It's not that easy.
Okay, so the winner of that match plays Casamano
And
Lefevre.
that's a Friday afternoon match.
Friday afternoon. Out by check-in if you lose that match.
It's nuts.
So the winner of that match plays Anthony Casamano and Nathan Lefevre, another team that has struggled this year.
Yes, but I will pick them to win that match.
Well, that would lead us into a round of 16 rematch from last year's Nationals between McKnight Rose and Casamano Lefevre. Kazi and Lefevre beat them in President's Cup and then lost to them in a tight two-setter at Nationals.
I will pick Knight and Rose.
Me too.
They're too solid, and you know, it seems like Nathan doesn't have the patience. Now that he's moving back to the East Coast, hopefully he's gonna get into a paddle mindset again and develop some patience, because honestly, I think he's been struggling with that.
I was hoping he was going to move back a little earlier so we could play for my Region 1 President's Cup team, so I was disappointed that it took a little longer than necessary. Okay, so if we got McKnight and Rose getting out there, let's go to the last section of the draw. Another terrific round of 64 matchup, O'Connor Wakeford, Chris Gambino, Mark Johnson. Now, Chris's calf is somewhat questionable, and we're not 100% certain he's playing, but as of right now, we believe he's in the draw. So, two former national champions, Chris in the Open 3 times, Mark Johnson won the mixed, against the mental
giant.
Mental giant. We decided the mental is O'Connor and the giant might be Wakeford.
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
So, who do you like in that match? Do you think the mental giant kind of prevails ultimately?
No.
Well, we don't know if they're
I like Gambino and Johnson. I mean, they're really good.
I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to pick O'Connor Wakeford.
Yeah, but only because
I think
Gambino is hurt.
Yeah, but this way I can pick my President's Cup boys and give them some confidence. Say, hey, I was behind you guys.
No. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I just don't think
Well, if Gambino and Johnson are playing together, you have to like them against Karana Wagner too.
Yes.
which would bring them out to play Durant Parsons, where
That would be terrific.
that would be fun to watch.
That would, although, you know, Gambino doesn't match up well against
No, he
Durant.
does not. Playing with Drew Broderick, who's one of the
Yeah,
top
but
players in the country.
also on the other hand, you have to understand Mark Johnson has a lot more offense than Drew. He doesn't play the same style as Drew,
Right.
so Johan will not see as many lobs as he usually sees. So, you know, the match is going to be different. It's going to be faster, and I don't know if that's going to be better or not for Gambino and Johnson, but it's going to be a different matchup. Although
Can't pick against
No.
Durant Parsons. Okay, so let's go back to the quarterfinals. So the top of the draw, that gives us Broderick Palmer versus Cochran Estes.
yeah.
Cochran Estes, big match team, have not played well this year, like a lot of the other teams, struggled a little bit. How do you see that match unfolding? Broderick Palmer. Broderick Palmer beat him 1 in love at Atlantic.
Yeah, Broderick Palmer all the way to the semis. I think Drew slows it down, and just Mike and Scott do not like that.
Okay, next quarter, we have the winner of the Grangero-Wilkinson Benchila Uline match against you guys. Why don't you give me a sense of both those matchups? You obviously had a spectacular match with Brian Uline at Nationals in Indian Trail in the quarters.
Oh my God, that was great.
One of the best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, although, well, I don't know if Alex is gonna play the ad or the deuce. He's been playing the ad, hasn't he?
And playing the ad, yep.
I honestly don't know. Against them, I have no idea. I mean, I don't like playing Alex. I think he actually.
When was the last time you played against Alex?
Not
Counting times we've been on the same side of the net, played against each other.
No.
You have to be on opposite sides of
Yes,
the net.
I played against him and Matt Potter. I played with Brad Easterbrook in
At
Short
Short
Hills.
Hills.
And we lost to them. Alex, I think, played great that match. I don't like playing Alex. I mean, he's very tricky. He has a lot of weapons.
His serve is a real weapon.
Well, his serve is a weapon. I hope it becomes a weapon on our side that day. But the truth is, he's solid. If he doesn't fold, honestly, he's a great player. And then Brian creates a lot of spin. But you know, Marco and George can beat them. I mean,
Well, Marco and George have had a great year. Seeded 4th, 5 in the country. You played against them several times this year. You beat them in Chicago, lost them at Long Island, retired against them in the money tournament.
yeah.
Tell me how you see that match unfolding if that's who you play.
I mean, like I said, it all depends how it goes, how George comes out to
That's
play.
the big issue for me, right? I mean, last year you played them in the quarters nationals, and George, who to me I think is a big match player, completely fell apart.
Let me hear it.
Marco, any comments on this? What do you-
I'll just.
What do you think?
I just want to hear it.
Okay.
You're-
So I mean, I like playing them. I think we know each other very well. I mean, it just, like I said, I mean, it's gonna depend how George comes out and play that day. I mean, last year, honestly, they had a great tournament, and when we play in the quarters, Alex,
Well, George fell apart.
Not only George fell apart, Alex and I played great.
You guys kind of smelled it, played well, jumped
Yeah.
great, jumped all over him. But George was so tight. I mean, he couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
And I didn't help him.
Well, yes, true. You know, but that's what we were talking
But
about.
it takes 2 to win and 1 to lose.
Yes, exactly. So you know, it's gonna be hard. I mean, I think it's gonna be I think that's gonna be the best quarterfinals of the tournament.
I agree. I mean, I think that Marco and George Benchila Uline is the best 16 of the tournament.
far.
And I think the winner of that match against what I think is going to be you guys is the best quarter of the
I
tournament.
think so. Yeah.
So I know you never
Did the
pick
match win?
I know you never pick yourself, so I'm going to. Okay, so third section of the draw, we've got seeded teams playing each other in a rematch from last year. Boston Bredberg versus Bacher Goodspeed. Flip and Rob played an absolute perfect match last year. Beat them, I think, 1-1. And I thought Martin Sebi played pretty well. But it's a year later, different teams, different players. What do you think?
I would pick Martin and Sebastian.
Yeah,
This year at least I got to play Goodspeed and Bacher in the semis of Cincinnati.
You guys played exceptional. That might have been the best match I saw any team play all year.
Yeah, but I think that I think Martin and Sebastian can replicate what we did. I think they have that style that they can do that, you know.
Well, I think that Martin and Sebastian either lose in the 32s to Burke and
Burka?
Trzynski, or they make it to the semis.
I think so too.
That's my pick on Martin and Sebastian. Bottom half of the draw, McKnight Rose, Durant Parsons. These teams have played 3 or 4 times. McKnight Rose gave them a scare their first year at Charities.
Yes.
They're playing together a couple of years ago. Durant Parsons actually served to stay in the match in the 3rd set.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than what you think, but Durant and Parsons
I think it's going to be like a 5-2 match.
could be.
That's my prediction for
Yes.
Durant Parsons. Okay, which gets us to Sunday. So, as we have it matched up, we would then have Broderick Palmer versus who I'm picking is yourself and Leonard. So you've had some success with Drew. You've had some failures against Drew.
Yeah.
You and Max obviously had an epic match at Short Hills against those guys. Leonard does certain things much better than Max, certain things not as well.
Definitely. I will pick Broderick and Palmer.
Okay, well, I'm going to pick you guys. If
I
Leonard
just-
from Boston shows up, because that Leonard from Boston, Leonard just hits a big ball. He's solid. He serves really well. I think that's one of the big keys to me. Is
I
Max
think that
struggling with
actually,
his serve.
you're right, but that's the old Leonard. I actually think his serve is not as good anymore. He's a liability now.
How did he serve at Boston?
He didn't serve that well. He used to. I remember. This is a funny story actually. I remember playing with him in some tournaments, and all of a sudden, he was serving to the deuce court and he was finding the side wire on every shot, and
And
people
it serves so hard to the
hard
deuce
and
court.
heavy, and people couldn't really return it.
Well, I
couldn't drive the
returned
ball.
it well, but usually it went out of the court on the fly.
So people couldn't drive the return.
Yeah, there's no
So
driving.
all of a sudden, he would start serving down the middle. People would just drive the ball off the wire or.
Yeah, then it comes out pretty far.
Yes, so I would turn and go. I remember, I will never forget this. I would go to Leonard and say, Leonard, why do you change your serve? They wouldn't drive. Oh, because I get bored. I want to see some volleys. I swear. That's what he told me. And he
So
stopped.
maybe that's why he's not serving well. He wants to see more volleys.
Well, I don't think he's been practicing enough for him to have that luxury of deciding whether he wants to hit more volleys or not. So once again, I think playing President's Cup for him is going to be a big difference. It's going to be great, hopefully. But Broderick and Palmer are very tough, and we don't have what Johan and Mark have. For example, I think that we team up better with Johan and Mark than when we team up with Broderick and Palmer.
Well, why were Broderick and Palmer able to slow the pace down so much against you where they can't do that against Johan and Mark?
Well, Johan gets on top of the net, and Mark hits the roller to
Permanent I formation.
and we don't do that. I mean, I usually take more overheads. I mean, we tried Leonard taking more overheads, but Mark also is amazing at hitting the nick, and
Amazing.
Johan is on top of the net and he gets everything. So I mean, that's just skill. We don't have their set of skills, and that's just a different. We do other things
skills,
better.
right. We do other
but
things better.
The way we should play against them, we don't have it.
Well, you and Max obviously took him to the brink.
Yeah, but
And Max's serve was a big factor in your loss that day.
Well, yeah, but I think that we played a different style. I mean, we played a much slower style that Max can play. Leonard can't play it, or doesn't like playing that style. He likes to hit the ball.
Right.
And against teams, that's why I think we team up better against Johan and Mark, because we can drive the ball. We challenge them more, and that's why Drew and Jared don't team up that well, because they don't challenge them as much.
Right. Well, it's
It's going to be hard to guard. I think that
hard to
Look.
pick against Drew and Jared. They've had a spectacular year. They lost one
Definitely.
match the whole season, other than to Durant Parsons.
yes. So they lost
won
three
4 tournaments, 5
three
tournaments?
matches total.
Right.
So that's amazing. It's a
Right.
great season for them.
Okay, Boston Bredberg, Durant Parsons rematch from the Philly semis.
No, they don't have enough.
They just have enough weapons to hurt him.
No.
So
I actually think that, and I've been saying this for years, I think that if Johan and Mark are ever going to lose in nationals, I mean, for the next few years, they're playing great, they're a great team. I think that's going to be at the quarterfinals.
on
I don't
Saturday
think
night.
it will be on Sunday. On Sunday,
Well,
I told you
loved
this
your
before.
Line. I loved your line about breakfast.
I don't know what Johan does on Sunday mornings, because every Sunday morning he comes and plays, and he just plays unreal paddle. And nobody comes even close to his level on Sunday mornings. I mean, he's just
well, that would
much
mean
better than the rest of the field.
That would mean McKnight Rose, who've given him troubles in the past, who are a really smart, really solid team who volley exceptionally well.
Yes.
Which is one of the things you need to do to beat those guys.
Yes.
Now you have to also get to the net.
Yes.
but I tend to agree with your analysis. I think at the end of the day, if someone's going to prevent Durant Parsons winning the third consecutive Nationals, it might be McKnight Rose.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Broderick Palmer beating him. I mean, they obviously played a great first set in Philly, where they won a breaker, but
They couldn't. I mean, after that, it was what, 0-2.
0-2.
It's hard to keep up that pace when you don't play that pace of play all the time. Look, not going too far. I mean, today, okay, we played a match, Max and I, against Cochrane and Drew. And Drew tried to play faster. He played very different than the way he plays in the tournaments.
Yeah, much more aggressive.
He played a lot of aggressive because, you know, it was good practice. And that's what Drew needs to do, I think. He needs to practice like that, so eventually he can bring in the matches. But he wasn't as good as the Drew that plays in the tournaments. Drew in the tournaments doesn't. Today, Drew, actually, it was funny. One of the points, I hit a volley. I mean, he drives a good return at me. I hit a volley that was going to bounce in no man's land. And Drew went forward and tried to take a low volley from no man's land and dink it at my feet.
Wow.
And we both said, and I even told him, I said, I've never seen you do that in my life. But it's good for him to try those things.
Yeah. He
needs to, you know, find other ways to beat them. But at the end of the day, I think that Johan and Mark are going to win again. It's very hard. I mean,
it's impossible to pick
I think that
else.
Teams are going to give them close sets, and they might even lose a set here and there, but it's very hard to win 2 sets against them.
Well, we're headed out to Chicago tomorrow. I'm sure that John Noble and Shannon Vincent are going to put on a terrific show. I'm sure it's going to be a spectacular tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of these great matches at the Glenview Club and all the clubs around.
Great.
Okay. So, Juan and I are going to do a brief preview of President's Cup.
Yes.
The dynamic Region 2, obviously big favorites.
Well,
Let's talk about the pools first.
Yes.
So Region 2, Region 4, Region 7, and Region 8 are one pool. And then the second pool is Region 1, which is New York, New Jersey, which I'm captaining. Region 3, the Philly, Baltimore, DC area. Region 5, obviously the hometown team and, you know, hometown favorites. And then Region 6 from the West Coast. So how do you see things unfolding? Which regions do you think are going to be
well, I mean,
toughest?
8 is always a good region.
Although they lost Patricio Mr. Toronto today, who I think is not attending, and they got Michael Montalbano again, which is a huge step down.
Well, yeah, if you compare Patricio and Antonio, Patricio and Monty, I think so.
Okay.
But anyways, Monty is probably staying positive, and he'll...
Very positive.
Yes.
But that's a good team. I think Marino and... I'm not sure if is Dane Schmigel playing for Region 8 or Region 5. I think he's playing for Region 5.
I'm not sure.
But Mike Marino's playing for that team. Scott Bondurant. It's a good deep team. They're gonna be tough.
Very deep. It's gonna be. I mean, and last year we played Region 8 in the final.
Right, but last year Region 8 had a different captain. That made all the difference in the world.
That's true. I think that
Phil Fiedler's relatively inexperienced. I don't see him doing a particularly good job.
Yeah, sure. I think that we have a good team, and I mean, we have a very deep team, and I would pick us to win it again, and I would love to win it.
You guys are clearly big favorites.
I heard Jared and Morneau are playing 5.
So Jared Palmer and Jeff Morneau are going to be the 5 court ahead of Mick Innes and Mark Odoya?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I might be playing 5 with somebody else, and then Jared might be playing with Max.
So you and Max have broken up?
Well, I don't know, but I think that they're probably a better team than me and Max. So I think that I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
So who do you think is going to be? I mean, I think Region 2 is a 5, 6, 7 to 1 favorite to win the whole thing.
You know, I mean,
you don't have as good a team as you could have.
Yes.
Based on qualifications and certain teams not playing.
Based on rulings, and I think we should probably, you know, in the future we gotta see what we do. But I think that we could have had a much better team. I mean, if you think about it, we would have had the number 1 team, Johan and Mark.
Right.
Half of the number 2, Jared Palmer.
Right.
Max and I, number 3.
Right.
Then you can have the entire number 5.
Yep.
Marco and George. Sebastian and Martin, number 6.
Yes.
So out of the top 6,
yes,
you have 4.
you have 4.5.
4.5 teams.
Right. Of the top 6.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That said, out of those, we have Johan and Mark. We have Jared Max
I
and I.
assume you and Max will play 2, Sebi and Martin 3, maybe Innes and Ordoya 4, and then Morneau and Palmer 5?
No idea.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the secret weapon of the Region 2 team.
That is
Carl Levenot?
Carl Levenat and Faisal Rasali.
Yeah, well, Carl.
Yeah.
Carl's very valuable, especially if you're on the court, you need a bottle of water quickly, something like that.
Yeah, I always well the winner of the worst South African player.
Winner of the worst South African player.
You know, he might. I think we might put him in one match if we need to lose a match.
So, who do you think is your main competition?
I think that 1 and 5.
5's going to be awfully good.
5 is going to be very good, and 1 is very good. Drew is playing President's Cup for the first time ever, maybe.
Drew is playing President's Cup. We had a little side deal. Drew and I had a conversation.
That's
and I convinced
amazing.
him to play.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
Caldwell is playing for Region 1.
Yep.
Lubao de Rose.
Yep.
I mean, come on. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Who else?
Anthony Casamano,
Wow.
Kaler and Stulak,
Are you kidding me?
the mental giant and Devin Wakeford.
And they're going to be playing 5?
Probably 5. That'll probably be a 5 team.
That's a solid 5.
Victor Vidal and Brett Kraft, Mark Rupert,
That's a pretty good team.
and Corey Parr.
I think that you guys are going to be very strong.
Well, we're in the same pool as Region 5. So one of us, assuming both of us get out, one of us will be playing you guys in the semis, because I assume you guys will win your pool, and the other one in the finals.
That's going to be very hard for anybody.
Just like Durant Parsons in the main draw, impossible to pick against Durant Parsons in Region 2 and President's Cup.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. We'll see what we do.
And we'd like to talk about the Women's President's Cup, but honestly, without the top 8 players, I just don't know enough about it to really comment.
I mean, yeah.
They're going back to the old format.
They're going back to the old format, and I heard something. I mean, I don't know if it's true, that they're playing 4 games or something.
To 4 all, and they're playing a tiebreaker, I think, at 4 all. And then I think they're playing the 3rd set out.
I mean, this is going back to the President's Cup discussion that happened like 3 years ago. I mean, I like to see, this is kind of preventing the game from evolving. I think that by adding the top 8 to be eligible to play in President's Cup is a big thing, because in the past was the argument that the top 8 didn't want to play because they didn't want to be tired for nationals. That was one of the things. And then the other thing is, if you have too many good teams playing for one region, then you kind of give other players no chance to play.
That's certainly true now.
Yes, but that's it. And I was talking to some ladies the other day about this. I think that the APTA, and it's not I'm not trying to criticize it or anything. I think that the APTA has to give the option to the player whether if they want to play or not. Like, look, for example, in the men's, this is the first year that Drew is going to be playing.
I think the only one of the top 16 male players who's not playing is Scott Estes. I think everybody else is playing.
There you go. But I mean, it has to come from the player. I don't think it has to be
Yeah, the women decided that they wanted to have the top 8 ineligible, and obviously the women's game is a much slower game, a lot more. You're on the court a lot longer, and for whatever reason they decided they didn't want to do it.
Look, I mean, the women run their own
that's their
thing,
prerogative.
and I'm just saying, I think that it will make it more interesting for everybody. But that's why we have separate committees.
Yes.
And that's why things are run differently.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a great weekend in Chicago.
I think it's going to be great, and I know Chicago does a good job putting the events together. So hopefully we'll be happy by Sunday.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, that concludes our Nationals wrap-up.